Wow, that was fun. I'll tell you what, I don't think that tennis court's gonna ever be the same again.
That's because we whooped them, Elizabeth.
Wait, we can do that. Watch.
There's half the issue.
I think it is too.
No one told me Elizabeth can serve over 90 miles an hour.
That's
just ridiculous.
Right? Keep score with this love thing and 15 and good job, guys. Hey, nice one. Lon, you want some water?
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Oh, so how many miles you guys go?
35 miles.
Wow.
Nice.
Fantastic.
That's no training wheels. No training wheels.
Where's Tony?
Where's Tony Depker?
We may have forgotten to tell him it was an electric bike.
Oh, that's
No, he went up that hill.
A couple of hills.
There's no way.
Oh, Tony.
Very close.
Tony! Not good.
No.
Yeah, give him the sweat bag.
do that?
Tony, here, you need it bad.
Man,
Unbelievable.
how did you guys go so fast?
Yeah, barely broke a sweat.
Wait,
These are electric bikes.
no, you didn't tell him?
Didn't know that? I guess we didn't tell you. Oh, well.
All right.
That's all.
Okay, guys, we got to get ready for the show. Tony, why don't you clean up a little bit?
No doubt.
Yeah,
Let's go.
come on, man.
I don't know. I'm ready for some more.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Tony,
Let's go.
Got some water?
Welcome to Between the Studs. We are Granite Ridge Builders, custom builders serving northern Indiana, northwest Ohio, and also parts of southern Michigan. We have been building custom homes for almost 2 decades, and we're really passionate about what we do. So join us today as we explore the processes, the trends, and also tips that characterize today's new home. Thanks for watching.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We're here at Krieger Park in New Haven, Indiana, and this is one of the most beautiful parks that you're going to find around the area. I used to play softball here, hit a lot of home runs around this place.
Wake up.
Well, I thought about hitting some home runs.
Time
back
and
in the day.
memories just aren't your thing.
Now, I grew up right through the woods from here, and I played soccer at Concordia, and all of our home games were here, so I also spent a lot of time at this park.
Well, I graduated from New Haven, so we spent a little time out here having some fun, sports, tennis.
Well, we're going to talk more about this park in particular, but we're going to continue on with our small towns, parks, and trails, and why our surrounding area has now become the #1 destination in the country. So here's what I know. We are so blessed to live in northern Indiana. There's so many things that we have at our fingertips now, and I know one, downtown Fort Wayne has just transformed, I think, our whole area.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
We have some of the most amazing breweries and wineries around this area as well. If you're talking about destination cities, this is where you want to be.
I'll make a list of those wineries anytime.
And we're in one park, but in our area there's 87 parks on over 2,800 acres. And let's not forget all the lakes. Within an hour, there's about 500 different lakes.
In fact, everybody wants to go to the lake.
The lake,
and
yeah.
We don't know which of the 500 they're going to.
Now the best thing about Fort Wayne, in my opinion, is we have everything a big city has on a little smaller scale with a lot less cost to park.
And drivability.
Yeah,
You
drivability.
can get everything everywhere in 20 minutes or less.
We don't have traffic jams in Fort Wayne. If you've got 3 cars at the light, they're there more than a minute, you got a traffic jam. I don't think so in Dallas or one of those other cities.
Well, here's what we're going to do. Let's prove it. We have probably over 30 or 40 awards and accolades that I know of. So we're going to try to name quite a few. But the first one I know of, we were named again the All-American City in 2021. That's the 4th time we were named that. They were also named that in 2009, 1998, and 1983. So there are so many. So guys, try to name a few. I'll give you one more. We were named the 5th safest city in the United States. I thought that was pretty cool.
One thing we have is those great sports teams. We were one of the top 5 minor league sports markets in the entire country. We cover all the sports. We got basketball, baseball, hockey, football, soccer. We've got them all.
Fort Wayne was also recently rated the best place for first-time home buyers. And we love that, and we're ready to meet those first-time home buyers.
It's true.
We also made the list for the best place to retire. So we cover the entire span.
I'm in on that.
And the #1 place to raise a family. So again, birth to death, we are the best place to live.
When you mentioned family, you can't forget about our zoo, right? Award-winning zoo, and we were rated one of the best playful cities in the United States. So we've got things like the trails we keep talking about. We're runner-friendly, biker-friendly, so we've got it all here when it comes to family.
You know, one thing you're talking about with all that, most of the things you're saying, they're all free.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, you can do so many things around Allen County and Fort Wayne that are absolutely no cost to you.
Well, here's another one. Top 10 quality of life in our area. And I can see that also.
Well, it makes it the #1 happiest. We're the
I've read that, yeah.
happiest and one of the most caring cities as well.
And they're saying that we are also the top place to move to in the whole United States because of the things like the happiness, the cost of living, and career opportunity. According to Smart Asset magazine, we're #1 in the country.
Yeah, I've
Go
seen.
back to that sports for just a second, because we also have the top facilities. Think about Parkview Field. It consistently is rated the #1 minor league baseball park in the country. And then, I mean, who has the Coliseum? Who else has the Coliseum?
Well, don't forget about the Clyde when it
Right.
comes to music and everything we have going on in town.
And all of these things make Fort Wayne one of the top 50 cities in the United States.
Yeah. And like Lonnie said, homeowners and financing, we have an unbelievable program that a lot of people don't know about, and it can save people hundreds of thousands of dollars almost by going under a 502 or rural housing program, and that gets back into our small cities. All the small cities around us, as we're going to show you today, have that same type of draw.
There's also our genealogy library.
Right.
They rate it in the top 2 in the nation. My mother-in-law loves that place.
And Fort Wayne rates at the top of the list for world-class water quality.
Wow.
Again, we're one of the 50 best places to live, voted in 2022. According to autoinsurance.org, we're the top 10 best paying cities for young workers. Kiplinger just rated us the top 7 places to retire, and GoBankingRates.com rated us the best place to retire rich. Times Magazine rated Fort Wayne first in the nation for job creation.
All right, so let's get back to where we're located. So as we mentioned, we're at Krieger Park here. It's kind of situated almost right between Fort Wayne and New Haven, but there is, like we mentioned, 218 acres, and this park has pretty much everything.
Yeah, in 1966, the park was established. Prior to that, it was owned by a cipher. It was called the Seifert Farm, and it was known for its potatoes. Its ciphers and potatoes.
Makes sense now.
But they sold it to the Land and Water Conservation, and then in 1992, they added another 60 acres. It was originally 110 acres, and then another 60 or so acres in 1992.
So I heard they called that the Maumee Park originally,
Originally,
correct?
yeah.
Right.
When did they change the
And
name?
Then in 1994, Gail Krieger came into play, donated $5 million. And
therefore, Krieger.
next thing you know, it's Krieger Park, and then they donated another 58 acres to take it up to the 218 acres it is today.
Well, all I can say is this is probably one of the neatest places around here. Let's mention real quick what it has in there. For instance, it's got a 2-mile hiking walk that I know is just awesome. It's also got 9 soccer fields, 4 unbelievably lit baseball, softball stadiums, and it is nationally known for that. What else does it have?
There's this outdoor fitness equipment. There are 21 different things you can stop and do.
And it doesn't cost you a dime.
I say
That's
that as
free.
if I'm out here all the time doing it.
Right, and then tennis courts. There's 8 tennis courts.
Yep.
There's also a big open area out here for kite flying. If you're out here on a sunny day, sometimes you'll see people out here paragliding. They have a fan strapped to their back with a big parachute out here flying around. It's awesome.
And I want to see Mike doing that.
Yes.
Can we get B-roll of that, please?
Look, it's got a lot of picnic areas too.
Oh, beautiful picture. And I've never seen so much grass somebody's got to mow. I don't know.
200 acres. Now, the biggest and most important thing that reason we're here is because of what's behind us.
Yeah, so what's behind us, this is what put this park known nationwide. This is Taylor's dream. Taylor was a student, 11-year-old student. She was going to Harlan at the time, and she was out playing on a playground with a friend. Realized that the friend was not able to enjoy the playground because they had some disabilities that they had to work around. And she thought, well, there's got to be a way that my friend can enjoy playing on the playground as much as I do. So she started a campaign to raise money to build what's behind us here, which is called Taylor's Dream. And what it's called is it's a boundless playground, which means that it's completely handicap accessible, that everything on here can be enjoyed by any child of any age or any ability.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. We got to do some interviews with her back in 2011 is when it happened, and it was the first one in Indiana.
Yeah, and it's the best one in Indiana, and it's known as one of the best ones nationwide.
Well, we encourage everybody to come out and enjoy this park, especially the Taylor Boundless Park. It's unbelievable, but we got to get the rest of the show going. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about New Haven, we're going to talk about Woodburn, and also one of our 2 projects coming up. But before we do that, Luke, why don't you go do the trails and talk about that while we all get set up downtown Schnoker Park at the gazebo.
Sounds good.
Izzy wants to go to the playground.
Yeah, the Greenway is right here. Let's jump on.
Do you need a home, and do you need it now? Give Granite Ridge Builders a call. Did you know that we have over 100 spec homes under construction in Fort Wayne and the surrounding areas? Some of these homes have basements, 3-car garages, 4 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, give Granite Ridge Builders a call. You may have talked to us a few months ago and we were out of inventory, but don't worry, Granite Ridge Builders has you covered. Give us a call at 490-1417.
So Izzy, we started where the Maumee River started downtown. Now we're almost 6 miles away from that starting point where the St. Mary's and the St. Joe come together to create the Maumee. Now the Maumee River's got a lot of history with it.
Yeah. So the name Maumee came from the Miami tribe actually first, but the French couldn't pronounce Miami, so it ended up becoming Maumee.
Right, so let's unpack this a little bit. Like I mentioned, we're standing here 6 miles away from where the Maumee River starts downtown Fort Wayne, where the St. Joe and the St. Mary's come together. Now what's unusual about this river is most of us think rivers flow from north to south.
Yep.
This one actually goes from south to north. Now it's 137 miles long and it ends up at Lake Erie.
It's just the craziest thing. I grew up on the river in Arkansas, and so to hear it going south to north is absolutely ridiculous.
Right, so let's highlight some of the towns that it travels through. So obviously we've got Fort Wayne, then it goes through New Haven, then it's gonna make its way up to Woodburn, then from there it goes to Antwerp, Defiance, Napoleon, and then eventually finds its way to Toledo. So there's lots of forts that were built along there. We got Fort Defiance, for example. The Battle of Fallen Timbers in Toledo was fought right along the Maumee River, but it is just gorgeous here.
Yeah. So whenever we're talking about this trail, we're also talking about the Black Swamp. You want to tell us more about that?
Yeah, so the Black Swamp started kind of in this general area in Fort Wayne. It's kind of the tip, and then it traveled all the way up northwest Ohio, all the way to Toledo. So most of the watershed from that Black Swamp ended up in the Maumee River. And with that, there was lots of timber. And we're gonna get into that a little bit later of how Woodburn got its name.
Yeah, so 5% of the intake for Lake Erie comes from the Maumee.
Now, we've traveled on a trail to get here, and by now you all know I'm pretty proud of the Fort Wayne trails. And this particular portion of the River Greenway, which, you know, the Fort Wayne's got over 135 miles of trails now, so and I always try to travel every one. This is part of one of my favorite sections here that goes from downtown Fort Wayne and follows the Maumee River, because you get so many glimpses of that river, and you can see why the Native Americans really liked making this part of their home.
And it's a very, very popular thing here in Fort Wayne. I think up to 60,000 people per month during the summer are a part of this trail system.
Yeah, and we've seen, you know, just here today, we've seen several people using the trail. It's a beautiful day. You think we can squeeze a few more miles out? We're supposed to go to New Haven next. We could meet them there.
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
It's even better, right?
I'd like to take the opportunity to invite you to visit our 15,000 square foot showroom located at the corner of DuPont and Coldwater Roads. Whether you're just looking for kitchen inspiration or are picking out the fixtures for your new custom dream home, we've got you covered. The latest trends are always on display, and the showroom is the ideal way to explore these possibilities. Give us a call today to schedule your tour, or just stop by our showroom. We're open 6 days a week.
Mike, we're here in beautiful downtown New Haven, one of the original suburbs of Fort Wayne, also known as the Crossroads of America.
Yeah, New Haven really got its start because of its proximity to the river. So it started off with canals. The Erie Canal made its way in. It fed off of the Maumee River, and it really became a transportation hub around the area. So the canals were in use for a handful of years, and they quickly became obsolete because the train system came in. Now, when you have a city that's on the river and you have trains running through it, it kind of became a mecca for transportation around this area. It really was the central hub for all of the outlying communities around here for transportation purposes.
And the railroad that goes through New Haven right now was still an integral part of even our business today, because it goes right next to Home Lumber. And then something very big happened in 1912. Carl Fisher, you may have heard of him. He's the originator of the Indy 500.
Oh, yeah.
He came up with the idea of the Transcontinental Highway, and they called this highway the Lincoln Highway, named after President Lincoln. A lot of people thought it was going to be Route 66. Different thing altogether. That one starts in Chicago, ends up in California. This one starts in Maryland, through it all, and then out to San Francisco. Now, this was the impressive thing. In 1928, they were able to organize 3,000 Boy Scouts. Now, if you really look at history, that's only 18 years after the Boy Scouts originated. And they were able to get 3,000 of them together, coast to coast, with concrete markers that they put every mile down the highway, and that was the original mile markers for the Lincoln Highway.
And then the next big turn of events was the 469 bypass.
Yeah.
Now this really encompassed Fort Wayne and New Haven and all the surrounding areas and allowed it to be an even bigger hub for transportation and allowing, semis to circumnavigate our area.
Now let's talk a little bit more about New Haven itself. New Haven was officially platted in 1865, but did not become a city till way later into the 1900s.
And Tony, we're standing here in another landmark of New Haven, Krieger Park. This is where Canal Days, Brew Haven, things like that are hosted, and it's a really great community event.
The fun thing about New Haven is it is a suburb of Fort Wayne, and they have so many things happening here. They have so many great parks in the New Haven area, so many wonderful schools in the New Haven area, and also my favorite thing, so many places to eat here in the New Haven area.
There is great food here. My favorite, Rack and Helen's. They have the most amazing buffalo wings, the sausage rolls. Holy cow, I'm getting hungry.
Mike, you're right. Rack and Helen's is one of the great restaurants here, but there's also like 5 or 6 other ones that are fantastic. Like you said, Brew Haven's amazing. I'm hearing the train.
You can hear the train in the background here.
I mean, the train just means that there's a lot of business and commerce happening. Wait, I'm hearing a horn.
Here we go. We're gonna go check out the Lincoln Highway. Let's hop in the car and go.
We're gonna go check the Lincoln Highway out.
Come on, guys. Get in. This is so
Ladies,
fun.
where have you guys been?
Well, we went shopping. Now we're ready to go cruising down Lincoln Highway.
Very nice.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm feeling like we're in Thelma and Louise right now.
Who's Thelma and Louise?
We'll watch the movie sometime. Don't worry about it.
All right.
At Granite Ridge Builders, we recognize financing is a very critical subject these days. At Granite Ridge Builders, we're ready to sit down with you and discuss your specific needs as it relates to the down payment you have or don't have, the closing cost, whether you need us to carry the loan or you can carry the loan, and the interest rate that you're looking for, whether it's an adjustable rate or a fixed rate. Give us a call. We'll be glad to sit down and talk with you. It's a misconception that you need a down payment. Give us a call. We'll talk about all those options out there on the table. We're out here today in New Haven at Home Lumber, which is one of our most important trade partners, has been since the beginning. I've actually been working with these guys for 40 years.
Yeah.
They've been around since 1957, and then they moved to the New Haven area in the early 60s. And what a job they do out here for us.
Right, yeah, and like you said, it's one of our most important partnerships, and they do a fantastic job supplying a lot of material, but most importantly, lumber. And Lonnie, we couldn't have Between the Studs if we didn't get the studs, so.
That's a good point,
right.
That's a good point. And one of the reasons that they're very important and they're very successful is because they're actually on a railway here. And every week they get 4 or 5 cars in that's full of lumber. They told us they can get 21,000 studs on a rail car. I think that's like 40 houses or something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot of homes, a lot of studs. Yeah, and like you mentioned, they are on this. We're literally 30 yards from the railroad right now. We already talked about the river, so we talked about all these different ways of transportation, but it's huge. And then once they get it off of that rail car, they actually load it up onto what they call a spider truck, is what's behind me here. That's what they're doing. They're loading a lumber package for Granite Ridge right now. Gonna go to lot 75 Golden Acres up there in Topeka.
Yeah.
And what's nice is on the back of that truck, you'll see that there's this other vehicle attached to it.
Yes.
That comes off, and that's called the spider part of it, and that's what allows them to unload it when they get to the job sites.
It's really interesting to me that you got these trees in Northwest America, in Canada, they chop them down, they mill them, they dry them within just a few days, and they end up here and in our homes. It's almost quicker and less expensive for a stud than a pizza.
Right, it is, that's true. Now, back to the spider truck, it'll take about 4 or 5 of those trucks delivered to our job sites to get that house completely built. And they run about 15 of those trucks every day.
A lot of stuff going on here, a lot of manpower, a lot of equipment, and so that makes home lumber and what we get here very, very important. Let's talk about some of those parts of the wood frame house.
Right, so you mentioned stud. So a stud typically refers to a 2x4. Now, one thing that people sometimes get confused about is that we always say it's a nominal 2x4. So if you go and remodel a house that was built 100 years ago, yeah, those studs would measure exactly 2 by 4 inches.
Right.
Now they're 3.5 by 1.5. So over the years, they've kind of shrunk them down, and then they throw that word nominal in there. So that's what makes up a 2x4, and we use a ton of those per house.
Right, and as I understand it, they package them in what they call bunks.
Right.
Let's break down bunk.
Right, so over my left shoulder here, you can see that flatbed truck, and they've already loaded up a few bunks. Now, one of them is a 2x4 bunk, and that includes about 285 studs that are in that bunk. But then when you get up to 2x6s, then you're closer to the 180. You get into 2x8s, you're at 80. 2x10s, you're down to like 64. So obviously the larger lumber, the less we can put in a bunk.
And by the way, it takes between 450 and 600 2x4s in a typical house.
Right. So now we mentioned the 2x, so 2x4s, 2x6s. Those are a lot of the components in our houses, but there's also some engineered products that we put in. So like whenever we do a 2-story basement, we do an I-joist. Now this one here, when they get done with loading all those bunks, they'll put a lot of those I-joists on the very top of that spider truck where it'll go from rack to rack.
And there's also plywood and OSB, and there's
Yep.
a difference there.
Yeah, plywood is just thin layers of continuous sheets that are built up together. So that's plywood. OSB is a bunch of little chips that are glued together. So we typically use OSB on our houses. We feel that it performs a little bit better, less shrinkage and expansion. But then there's LVLs, there's glue lams, there's steel I-beams.
Products.
Right,
All
and
wood
those are
products,
going to be large framing members that hold a lot of weight and transfer that weight down to the foundation.
So at Granite Ridge Builders, we're building about 400 homes a year, which means more than one a day. As we talk about these trucks, we're talking about a lot of trucks and a lot of activity to keep us rolling and getting these homes built for our customers.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Lonnie, I've been blessed to be able to walk a lot of the forests in Northwest United States and in Canada there, and all of the places that we get this from, A, the quality's fantastic, but B, they practice what's called sustainable forestry, so there's actually more trees planted in those areas than there were 100 years ago.
Thank you, Home Lumber. Let's go build and frame another house.
Let's do it.
That's it.
So I have a really simple question for you. Is your rent going up this year? Average of 30% around the Allen County area is going up in rent. Stop that right now. Fix your house payment. It's really simple. You can get into a USDA 502 loan. Lower interest rates between 1 and 3%, and you never have to worry about your rent going up again. You can build family memories. You can watch the kids playing in the backyard as you make snacks on the island. You can do this all very simply by going to graniteridgebuilders.com and click on the button.
Today we're highlighting small towns along the Maumee River. So now we are standing here in Woodburn. We're excited to be here because Granite Ridge Builders has a new subdivision. Now this Woodburn was originally platted back in 1865, and we are located, of course, along the Maumee River and the railroad. And this was originally called Phelps Station. The reason it got that name was because of the train depot.
And then after Phelps Station, it became Shirley City after the senator, Robert B. Shirley. This used to all be timberland. It was all woods, and there was a fire. There was a fire in a wood factory, and Joseph Edgerton said to his son, "That's it. Go and sell it all, make it all farmland." So they did. Between the fire in the wood factory and the fires that they had to clear the wood with, it became Woodburn then. Woodburn has been designated as the smallest 5th-class city in Indiana. It is a self-contained city. That means you can get whatever you need right here.
So being a self-contained city, it has barbers, it has groceries, it has hardware shops, restaurants. So you can do everything here. You don't have to go to another town for anything. It is self-contained. Now this is located in East Allen County Schools, so we are Allen County. Woodburn is in Maumee Township, and then the high school and the middle school are over in Milan Township. That's how they got the name Woodland for the school. They took the wood from Woodburn and the Lynn from Milan and made Woodland.
They put it together. They have a great student to teacher ratio over there. It's a good school system. This is a great area to live in, and you could live in it if you would like to come to our new subdivision. Come to Granite Ridge Builders. We'd love to tell you all about it.
And we are so excited about Ashler Point Charity. It is just down the road right here off of Main Street. Let's go take a look.
All right.
Elizabeth, I am so excited to be out here off of Becker Road. Look, we're moving dirt at our new subdivision, Ashler Point.
We are out here in Woodburn, and I'm excited too. Now, Ashler, people wonder how we get our names for subdivisions. So Ashler comes from the stone. It's a finely dressed stone. And so our entrance sign here is going to be a nice stone as you come in.
It's beautiful.
This is exciting. You can see we're almost ready to get the streets in. We're going to have 46 lots here in the first section, 5 cul-de-sacs, 3 ponds. And again, this is East Allen County Schools.
And this is also USDA area, so we're zero down. There's all kinds of amazing things happening out here in Woodburn right now. But this isn't the only one that we're starting in East Allen County Schools. details is it?
We are excited. In the spring, we're going to have Oakland Reserve. Now, this is a little closer to Fort Wayne. This is off of Schwartz Road, right across from Lakes at Woodfield. We've done a lot of building in there recently. But Oakland Reserve is also East Allen County Schools. So you can choose Leo, or you can go to Woodland Junior Senior High.
Right.
You have the option. We're going to have 118 lots there. We have a really nice pond. And one difference about this subdivision, Oakland, is how wide the lots are.
Oh, these
so we're
are
going to have a
great.
lot of 3-car garages.
So if you're looking to be a little closer to Fort Wayne, we've got Oakland Reserve. If you want to be out here in the Woodburn area, we've got Ashler Point. We are taking reservations for these lots today. You always hear about people who are a little worried, oh, I wish I would have got there earlier for a good cul-de-sac lot. Right now, you can still do that. Call us at Granite Ridge Builders. Let's put that lot on hold for you for 0 down.
These tractors are bigger. I'm going to try and drive one of these.
Do you really think that they just leave the keys in
Yes.
the visors?
Yes.
Well, let's find out.
Yes.
Okay, we got to close, but we're missing.
I think they're
Man,
still
they're still
joyriding.
cruising.
Oh, there they are.
Yeah, it's about time. It's about time.
We're a little bit windblown, but we made it.
Yeah, right.
Straight down the
Hell
Lincoln
yeah.
Highway.
Oh, man. Okay, I'll tell you what, I thought this was a great show today. Hopefully everybody found this very interesting. Anyways, one of the things I learned today was Fort Wayne is a destination of second to none.
Yeah.
And we found that out with all the accolades and all the awards we've won. What have you guys found interesting today about today's show?
Well, I know for me, I love going to the lumber yard. Anytime I can go out to Home Lumber and see that high quality lumber that's going into building our high quality homes is a fantastic day.
Well-groomed parks.
Oh,
A lot of yard to mow, as I said.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's a great place to live, and we have all of these new subdivisions and new lots coming where you can move and build your next new home.
Yeah.
It's a great place to live, and it's a great place to shop. There are some
Yes.
fantastic boutiques in downtown New Haven.
And if you're not related to charity and you want to actually save some of your money and not shop all the time, this is the area with the best cost of living and the easiest place to retire at.
This show wouldn't have been possible today without the Maumee River. It's a river that holds a special place in my heart. Growing up in Antwerp, Ohio, we put tons and tons of miles on kayaks in that river.
I heard you also golfed at Ponda River.
Ponda River is my favorite golf course.
Okay, hey, we got to close. Mike, would you close for us today?
Yeah, we want to thank you guys so much for watching the show. If you want to know a little bit more about who we are, what we do, and why we do what we do so well, pick up the phone and give us a call. Check out the website below, or better yet, stop in and come see us. Come talk to your small town experts.
Yeah.
Hey, that's should we all take a ride in the Rolls Royce?
I'm headed
Let's
to
do it.
trails.
Come on,
I'm headed to
back
trails,
up.
man.
Yeah.
If Thumb and Louise are driving, I'm not doing it again.
Holy skip it.
Now with shiplap, beadboard, picture paneling, there's just a lot of options to really add that extra to your home.
A lot of these components we call invisible because you're not going to notice them as you join the home. Yes, join it. Do you like joining homes?
Auto robot vacuums that will take care of everything for you. You can almost set it and forget it, as they say.
And one other appliance is the range. Did I say it right? Is it right? I don't know now. I'm confused. Is it range? And one other appliance to consider. We're going south.
But we also can make you.
Yeah, it's true. Everything he says is true. Meal, that's all, folks.
And the Porky Pig comes out.